welcome to the channel. For those of you that do not know me, my name is JJ RotoGeek. I live in just north of Dayton, Ohio. And I have another channel that is all around quads and GPS drones and things like that, which I've done for years. But I've always been an avid RC boat guy ever since I was a little kid. And this is the first real video of that, of the new channel. So thanks for joining me. If you are from my old channel, thanks guys for coming in and doing some support. We're just gonna do a really basic overview of a boat today. I think that's how we're gonna start it off. But what this channel is going to involve, I am not like the be all end all, know it all of anything. So what I really want this channel to be is to be informative to guys that are new to building or new to gas boats. And we're gonna do some electric boats and some nitro boats too, but it's gonna be mostly gas boats. Zenoa 26cc, 30cc, mostly custom builds. But I build a lot of boats, so it's gonna be pretty interesting in that regard. I've realized over the last year or two, sorry about that, smoking hot wife interruption. But anyway, and if you guys are from my other channel, you know what I mean by that. So anyway, what I wanted to do was basically, there are some great boat YouTube channels out there, like M5 is a really good one. But there's not that many that talk about what engines and engine mounts and struts and rudders and effects and all these other things. A lot of boat YouTube videos are just about guys running boats, and there's not really very informative. So what I'm trying to do with this is make it a little bit more interesting, and for those of you that are new to it especially. And I also want to involve the community, so I learn something too. So if I say, hey, this is how I do this, this, and this, then you can correct me and say, hey, you know, try it this way, it's a lot better. The forums get a little sketchy. I don't know, I'm not a big forum guy. I'm just not. That's just me. I love building boats. It's absolutely, I build probably more than I drive, just like I did with quads. But I was born and raised on a lake in northern Indiana. Well, I was born in Chicago, but I lived most of my life on a lake in northern Indiana when I was a little boy, and that's how I got into boats. And I still go back home. My mom lives on the lake up there, and I run some boats up there, but also here in Ohio, I run the boats on the river, like you guys saw maybe in that first video that I put on the channel to Crackerbox. And that is actually going to be the boat overview that we're going to do. I just want to do a quick video tonight. Excuse me. And for those of you that are new, I don't do hardly any editing. So when I screw up, I just kind of leave it in. You'll get used to it. And I have the Jewish hands going on, even though I'm not Jewish, but you know, to all you Jewish guys, there you go. But anyway, not very professional, but we're going to do boat overviews of stuff that I've built and am building. I have 3 gas boats in the works right now. I have like 10 of them. So we're going to go through a bunch of that stuff. But right now we're going to go over the Slasher, which is a Zippkits Crackerbox A-Box kit. Okay, so Zippkits is the company that makes it. Crackerbox is the style of boat, and if you look on YouTube and Amazon, look up boat racing. It's actually really cool. The real boats, not, well, the RC ones are cool too. And my buddy JJ Horvath down in Florida, he and I are great friends. I always said, you know, those things suck and they're gay looking, and you know, excuse the French, but they're, you know, Crackerbox, you know, it's not a hydroplane, it's not an outrigger, it's not a cat, it's, you know, he's like, oh, dude, they're fun. So he was giving me so much grief about it. And so finally I said, screw it, I build so many boats, I might as well build one. And I have to admit, JJ, you were right. I like it. I'm still tuning the hull in. It's running a little bit wet, as you saw in the video. And we'll talk about that in future videos of what wet and dry mean, and high and low and strut heights and all that stuff. But I just want to do that for a quick video. We're going to go over it. I'll throw it up here on the bench. I'll have to take the camera off because it's a very large boat. And we'll just do a quick overview. So bam, be right back. So look at that. Isn't that impressive? No, it's not at all. But I will move the camera. But again, I want to say to my buddy JJ Horvath, you are right. They are very fun boats to drive. Very cool. The kit itself is made by Zippkits. They are in Florida. Joe down there that owns Zippkits, very, very helpful. I've talked to him many times. I've built just about every single one of their kits they have a few times. A lot of their outriggers and all this other stuff. But this is, and I'll put a link to Zippkits in the description, and this is the A box. There are two different Crackerbox styles that they make. They make an A box and a V box. My buddy Don is building the V box, which is more of a V bottom hull, where this is a flat one. And I will flip this. Over and show you the bottom. So we're going to take this off right now, meaning the camera, and I'm going to show you this. Sorry about that, fat thumbed it. So here's what we've got. Very, very large boat. I use the biohazard symbol on almost all of my boats. It's just been kind of my trademark lately. I don't know why. But anyway, Don painted this for me. He did the clear coat and the red paint. Absolutely gorgeous. I did the decal work, and a lot of the decals made from scratch because we have a decal cutter. And I wanted to do something just kind of crazy with the theme of this boat. So I called it the Slasher, hence the Freddy Krueger hand there and the name Slasher on there. And there's our water outlets and a little machete because I 3D printed Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, which we all know and love from our favorite horror movies as kids, into the boat. And I also 3D designed and 3D printed the windshield and put this on. And this is actually, let's see if I can do this with one hand. This is actually the hatch cover, okay? And there you go. So we'll take that off. Jason and Freddy right there. So the decal work we did from scratch for the most part. Put a little machete on the back. Here's our radio box. We're running a straight Zenoa 26cc engine, which is pretty much what this boat's modeled after. And like I said, this is the first video in this channel. So we're gonna go through all the stuff of all these boats. The gas systems, the engine systems, the exhaust systems, all that stuff. We're using an IV bag gas system in this, which I will go over how to set that up eventually. Water-cooled header, Zippkits tuned pipe, super quiet pipe, I believe they call it, if I'm not mistaken. I did design and 3D print this outlet because I didn't like the look of just the pipe coming out of the back. So, you know, that's custom. Roto Geek Racing, which is just for fun, decal there, a Slasher. And on the other side, which I'm not going to show you, there's a Freddy Krueger glove claw on the back just to make it kind of neat. Our water outlets, obviously. Our radio box. So the radio box, we're running a direct drive servo system going to our throttle on our engine. That is also supplied by Zippkits. I buy that separately. We're using 20 kg waterproof servos on this. 20 kg waterproof servo on the steering, going out to the rudder. It's a dual pickup water. And our strut, two-bladed prop. I am using TFL trim tabs on this particular boat solely because Zippkits was out of stock when I was building it, so I bought something different. I usually try to buy from them because they're great people, great shipping. They will help you indefinitely. They're great. We do have a right-handed turn fin on the side here. And then if you want to look under the boat, if you can see it, you have a center skeg right there, all right? And that is basically like a keel. It keeps you going straight, if you will. So what I did for the hatch was I used a magnetic hatch system. We do have flotation on the hatch because it's reasonably heavy with all the 3D printing and whatever else. And so once we tape our box lid down, this snaps right down, runs like a champ. We are still, the video that you saw before this, video number 1 on the channel, was this boat running with it being not tuned, meaning the hull isn't tuned, the engine isn't tuned. Those were just break-in laps. You noticed when I was turning, it was plowing water in the front, you know, so we got a lot of work to do on the setup. But other than that, she turned out really, really nice. A very big boat. Which all gassers are. You don't get a small gas boat. We are running 8 ounces to 1 gallon of synthetic 2-stroke oil. in ethanol-free gas always, if you can. So yeah, she turned out really, really good. I built this boat in about, the actual build in about 4 days, maybe it was 3, I can't remember. And then my buddy Don obviously did the paint job on it, and it just turned out absolutely beautiful. And I do admit, I was wrong, JJ was right. It is a fun boat to run, very stable, turns on a dime, which I was really surprised because it's very, very flat on the bottom. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna stop the camera and I'm gonna flip this guy upside down. I'm gonna show you, hang on. All right, forgive me the water spots. These are just water spots. But you can see here we've got our stuffing box, which is right here. The stuffing box is what your shaft tube slides into. Here's our shaft tube going into our strut with our flex shaft. And we're gonna go over all the ins and outs of boat hardware on this channel, so stay tuned, we'll get to that. But like I was saying, this is a very flat bottom boat. See that? Very flat. There's the Freddy claw. Excuse me. Turned out very nice, but you're running a skeg, which is basically a keel. If you're used to sailing and things like that, it's basically what it is, just to keep you trimmed going straight. You do have a little bit of a contour here for a V, but not much at all. You can see, I don't know if you can see that, but a little bit of an angle there. But that is the big difference between the V box and the A box. This is the A box, so it's basically flat from about here back. And it's kind of like the drift car of boats. If you're into cars, it's a blast. Whereas my buddy Don, the guy who painted this, we built him the V-Box. And the V-Box has much more of a defined V shape to the hull. Very, very cool. Put a little knife decal on there for Jason again. So yeah, that's about it. So what we're gonna do, this is just an introduction so you guys could see the boat that was in the first video. I did do a rough tune on the hull, got everything, excuse me, sorted and situated. Need to tune in the engine a little bit and probably make some tweaks to the hull. Hopefully get this out tomorrow and run her again and do a nice video for you. And I'll talk during the videos and get everything going. But we can pick up a lot of speed to be gained on this. Yeah, it's not a hydroplane. It's not gonna be the fastest boat in the world, of course, but it is going to be much faster than it was in that first video. And hopefully we won't be cutting water lines anymore when we do our turns. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for showing up. And I hope you learned something from this channel because it's gonna be fun. I love boats. And through the last year or so, talking to so many of my friends I've made off of eBay and Instagram and YouTube, and all my friends are into boats, I realize we take so much for granted, those of us that build, and I'm no expert, but I do build a lot of boats and I know enough to be dangerous. You know, a lot of guys don't know the difference between a gas boat and a nitro boat, or a, you know, what's the difference between using a Teflon liner and not using a Teflon, you know, just simple things. So that's what we're going to try to do in this channel, and just be informative and have some fun, get the community involved, teach me some stuff, and just get everything out there. So again, keep the dry side up, kids, and we'll talk soon. Gangnam Style.